Welcome, friends, to Reality Test. What is reality testing, you may ask? Well, it's something we all do when we check our subjective or personal emotions, thoughts, and so forth against objective or fact-based reality. So here in Reality Test, we're going to be testing the castmate realities and the producer antics of our favorite reality TV shows against what we know as licensed psychologists about the reality off of our TVs. We hope you'll join us as we attempt to reality test. That's it. Thanks, y'all. Now check out our campy theme song.
Are you feeling stressed? Your head's all messed? Well, let's forget all the rest. Fuck it, we're blessed. Cause it's time to talk reality test. Come with us. Let's reality test.
Welcome to Reality Test. I'm Dr. Ray.
I'm Dr. Kay. Feel free to check in and take a seat wherever you like. We're going back to that big old theater with the plush seats. We're doing awards.
Yay! It is award season. It's always award season on this dear podcast, but man, is there a lot of TV out for us to give some awards to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great way to encapsulate a whole lot of TV at once instead of giving each show an individual time episode.
Yes.
Which is great. And also there's there's both reality TV and then there's also good scripted TV at the moment too, which we also were just talking about off mic, but we mostly did reality. I'm assuming we both did. I did only reality shows for this, but we could have done Bridgerton because we've done that before on this. We gave them their whole episodes back in the day.
We did. Good times.
Back in the day. Yes, exactly. And we gave Heated Rivalry just the other day. We gave Heated Rivalry time. So we're still doing fictional occasionally, but today I think is a reality TV day. The awards episodes are where we give awards, the same exact 8 awards out to any reality TV we've watched in the past, whatever, week, month, or two. But right now there's so much going on right now that for me it's all, very recent.
Very, very, like within the last week or two, I would say, most of the things that I am awarding.
Same. Well, why don't we talk about the shows that we're awarding, and then we'll go into our reality check, and then we'll do check-in. So, since we're talking about it, the shows I'm pulling from are The Traitors, Southern Charm, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I thought I was going to do Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but we gave them their whole time, separate episodes, and that was so long ago now that I ended up just not giving them anything. And then Summer House, the new Vanderpump Rules, and then I have one about the Love is Blind universe.
Ooh. So mine is a little smaller. So mine is Southern Charm, Summer House, Traitors, and who else? I think I have, no, I don't have any Beverly Hills. I thought there was 4, but that's only 3. Oh, Below Deck. Below Deck.
Oh, yes.
That's it.
I love it. So we both do 1 or 2 from other shows, and then we have a lot of alignment. That's actually pretty unusual to have that much alignment and a couple of our own on there. I love it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good TV right now, y'all.
Truly. And even though we'll be talking about psych content, we are not their therapists, nor are we your therapists, unless you're one of our clients. Hi, clients. But we are instead just talking about our knowledge of psychology and mental health applied to this in a way that is totally subjective from our perspectives, not knowing these folks at all, not doing an in-depth assessment of them, which is what we would need to do in order to diagnose them and so forth. So just some thoughts, food for thoughts from us. And let's do reality check. So reality check is where we both bring in a study of interest. It might be about what's going on sociopolitically or what's going on with reality TV or just what's on our mind. So we'll start there with our reality check. And check. Yeah, reality check. I just said it and I said it like it was the song. So then I was like, it must be the other thing. But no, it's reality check. So now it's Dr. Ray, what did you bring us for reality check?
So, and by the way, have you seen the Tyra documentary called Reality Check?
Okay, listen, I watched the preview for it, and even in the preview itself, I had 6 different emotions. Like, I was like, oh, thank God they're finally talking about this. And then it goes to her being like, really, it's because you all asked us to go harder. I was like, bitch, she's fucking blaming the audience? Are you fucking with me? Like, I absolutely cannot.
She gets her due. Like, I don't think she comes out of that looking good.
Right.
That's for sure. That show was so like seminal for me. It was just the time, like that was everywhere. Like some of those scenes, I've rewatched a season now, just ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
It's wild to think how a whole generation of women, and not only women, more than just women, were shaped by this sometimes severely misguided show.
Absolutely. Judgmental, like, so politically binding, and, like, very, like, us misogynistic and perpetuating that. And then, like, lateral aggression among women, and also, like, male gaze and so many problematic things. Also, like, anti-gay, anti-all the other things. And also classist. The other thing I was going to say is, did you see the season again, or have you watched it again, or do you remember the season that Molly was on from Southern Charm?
I don't think I actually, I either did watch her season or I don't remember it. Was she on one of the co-ed seasons or?
No, it was earlier than that. I think it might have been cycle 16 or something maybe, or 6, I don't know. But something with 6 and it feels right to me. But it was definitely still before the first co-ed season ever happened. And I remembered it, like I knew I recognized her from somewhere at the beginning of Southern Charm and I couldn't place it. And then when she said something about America's Next Top Model, I was like, that's it! And so I went back and saw some of the episodes of her in it again too, and I was like, I totally remember this. So she was one of those things that had imprinted on my mind because I really liked her in her season.
I got to watch her season either for the first time or perhaps the second time, and it's just kind of washed over me.
I think it's the oldest one available. It's the oldest one available on Hulu or wherever it is. I think it's Hulu or Netflix or something. One of them, wherever it is, it's, I think, the oldest cycle available too. Or the newest? No, it's the oldest. I don't know. Whatever.
One of them.
Yeah, something. It's barely in there, but thank goodness it is, because I enjoyed watching it again. Some of it again. Yeah.
Gotta check it out.
Great point. I would love to watch that documentary. Is it on Netflix?
Yes, it's on Netflix.
Fabulous.
Yes.
We'll watch.
Yes, and that wasn't even my reality check, but that is the title of that show. I'm going Crenshaw. So Crenshaw was the first to, I believe, write about intersectionality theory.
She coined it.
Yeah, coined it. I just think that in this reality TV moment, particularly on the Traitors, it's really interesting to think how the ways in which people are voted off kind of mirror societal oppression. Like, oftentimes the people who remain on that show are the people who are attractive white folks. And slowly but surely, the trans folks, the drag queens, the gay folks will get voted off because of a gut feeling or something like that, which you see societal oppression play out, in my opinion, because everyone's reacting to nonsense information. Like, I listened to a podcast about this the other day, but the idea of traitor behavior is so subjective and doesn't really mean anything. But if we look at the way, for example, like a black man who is a little more withholding and not there to make friends gets voted out, where a white man who's withholding, very attractive, not that, oh my gosh, what was his name?
Rob?
The black man who is now looking into an autism diagnosis.
You know what? It's something with, it's like Ron.
He's a comedian. But, Rob exhibited a lot of the same behaviors and had a lot more of a successful run. So it's so interesting to see how social dynamics play out and who's kind of lauded and who is a gut feeling that they're a traitor or something like that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's such a good point. And I actually have an award adjacent to that, which is so awesome. I love that we're on the same page. And I think also not necessarily the popular page, because everyone really likes Rob, but there's a lot to be said about it for sure. Not necessarily like in feminist circles. I don't know. I actually have not really seen a lot of the critical critical acclaim. I haven't seen that necessarily from feminist spaces or black feminist thought. But a lot of the popular media is sort of like, yay, Rob, we're not.
I mean, the man is cute.
The man is cute.
He's got that going for him.
And he knows it. Yeah. He knows he's got that going for him.
He definitely knows it.
Which is good. Good owner.
Is he as smart as he thinks he is? I don't know. I think he's more savvy than he would have to be given his position in life. And
well put.
Yeah, you can be that and that good looking, and that'll take you really far in this world.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah. And he has a little more personality than he might have needed to. Like, I agree. He's also, he's wiser and also, or like smarter, and also has more personality than he might have needed to be able to get far in life. So I agree with that way of putting it. Very nicely done. Very nicely said. Fabulous. Okay. And I would also say, like Kimberly Crenshaw, who's a Black woman, it's a woman of color, who talked about the intersection of two marginalized identities is worse in terms of oppression, than having one marginalized identity might be in our society, and especially visible ones, like being a Black woman in particular. So I love that model. There's also a TED Talk that she does too. If you haven't seen it, I think it's 2016 maybe, and I would definitely recommend finding that. I love it. Great love. My reality check, you were talking about like sort of low-hanging fruit because that's a good study that we both always love. I have another one that's just in the same exact category because we were just at a presentation today, Dr. Ray and I were, for our school, our program, and it was about supervision, and there was a study that was referenced in that I wanted to use for today, so I'm going to talk about that. One of those is cited in there. So the idea was, and the point that was made that then this was a citation for, and then I looked it up, is the idea that in supervision, clinical supervision of clinicians that are rising clinicians, emerging clinicians, that we need to be talking about the sociopolitical climate. And I think that is obvious things in many ways for Dr. Ray and I, who we practice RCT, and so that's a necessary part of it. We absolutely have to and do bring in the sociopolitical climate as part of thinking about people's oppression and marginalization and how that factors into how they are in the world and how that factors into the relationship with their supervisor, who's us, so between us, the relationship between us. And so I was glad, though, that this speaker, who's white, male, middle class, cishet, I'm assuming, although I'm not positive, that he brought it in because he didn't have to. And I'm really glad that he did because that's sort of where we're headed finally as a field. So the article was by Upshaw, Lewis, and Nelson from 2020 called Cultural Humility in Action, Reflective and Process-Oriented Supervision with Black Trainees. And so it was in this article or in this study with trainees of color where they were saying we need to talk about the sociopolitical landscape and the diversification of professional spheres. We need to be talking about contextually and culturally humble approaches to supervision. And so there's sort of they use some vignettes in it. They talk about some critical incidents to highlight the impact of having a culturally unresponsive approach, and so forth. So I think the main thing is, and Dr. Ray knows this, but I co-developed with another professor who's now retired, weekend workshop on the concept of socio-political integration into clinical work for this very reason, which is that we are at a place now where pretending that we're apolitical as clinicians is not only a privilege, but harmful. So I think that we need to be moving towards an area of more acknowledging our political sphere and at least bringing up the socio-political sphere that we're all a part of, and current events. I bring that in as my reality check. I don't know, that's obviously not relevant to those of you who are not necessarily clinicians, but it is in some ways, right? Like you as a client, if you are in therapy yourself, should be able to bring that shit up. And also including asking your therapist about their politics in some ways, because we should be able to talk about that. If you're wondering, especially because it has gotten so painful, it's become so politicized, having identities that are marginalized means that we feel personally attacked by folks who are MAGA, not necessarily Republican, but MAGA. And so knowing if your clinician is MAGA is a big deal. Like wondering about it is a big deal for those of us with marginalized identities. So I think it makes sense to feel able to bring that up.
Absolutely. Well said.
All right. Thank you so much. So
what
let's
is
move on
your
to
check-in for today? Oh, yes.
Love it. We're on the same page.
Yes.
What's on my heart and mind today? My mind and heart are in the place that it's gorgeous day today, which was lovely. It was like 40 degrees, first time in a while. It's been nice. But then my more complicated check-in is that I got feedback back on my book that I submitted, that I was asked to write. But then I got my feedback back on it, and it was real good. I'm so excited, overwhelmingly positive. People being like, this is much needed. It'll be useful for like all these groups. Yeah, like tons of groups they were naming that they think it'll be useful for. There was some feedback that actually aligned with some of the feedback I had for one of my co-authors, which felt really good. And hopefully that is going to land with them in a way that they change it. I don't think it will necessarily, but I'm hoping it will. And this is not in a critical, rude way or judgy way. It's just one of those things where it's hard to bring up feedback to somebody else who's working on something with you when they used to be in a power position over you prior. So it's nice. I didn't want to tackle that. So it's nice to have a reviewer do it. And also some stuff I didn't think about, which I like. And then this chapter I added last minute that I actually got some heat for from that same co-author. This chapter I added last minute about ethics. The reviewers' feedback on that was like, this is an excellent chapter. It should be first. It should be right up at the beginning.
Wow,
I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So glad I wrote it. So glad I snuck it in there after we were thinking we were done. And then they also said that my chapter on like the clinical application for individual psychotherapy, they were like, this person is clearly like had years of experience doing this kind of work. And they were like, this is a really strong. I was like, thank you so much. Thank you. That's nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you got good feedback and that some needed feedback was applied to the chat too.
Exactly. Like our publisher was like, you guys don't even really have to do this feedback if you don't want. They're like, there's so little, like we'll have a discussion about whether you want to do it. And I was sort of like, no, we do. We want to do it. Please let us do it.
We're going to do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of it that's like low hanging fruit anyway. Might as well let us. Like moving a chapter is real easy. And then meanwhile, by the way, one more thing about it, we got an email from a different person from the publishing company who was like, ready to do your book cover art. Like, let's do that. Yeah, it was so cool. She said this a bunch of resources, like look through these pictures and look through our other kind of covers and see if there's some that you like. Send me like 10 different looks and we'll bring it to the publisher and see what, or not the publisher, but whoever the hell gets involved with it and, and see what they feel like doing too. So I feel like it's getting really close and very official. Yay! They want that back by the beginning of next week. So I think we're cruising.
That's amazing. Oh, I'm so happy for you,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Kate.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much. Thank you.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good
So
stuff.
how about you? What's on your heart and mind today, dear Dr. Ray?
I'm going to Florida next week. So I will be off next week. So Dr. Kate is going to do a deep dive, I think on Amanda, right?
Well, it's the second half of it. To anybody tracking that, I was like, there's going to be 3 parts that come out this week, and 1 part came out. So the main thing is that it took me a minute. I've had some computer woes, of course, because my old house is blowing my computers up left and right. But basically, it just means I had to hit delay on the second half. It turns out I'm only going to do 2 parts. There's enough time for the rest of it to go into one block. So what I'll do is release that on the week that you are in Florida, so that therefore it kind of makes sense as another episode, and that'll be part 2 to the deep dive on Amanda Francis.
Yes, indeed. So, I'm going to Florida next week.
Yay.
I love Florida. I love the sun. I think it's just going to provide a nice mental health boost.
Yes.
I have a feeling that when I come back, it's going to be just a little bit warmer here too. So I'm feeling kind of the upswing from winter of like, okay, we're almost out of it. That's one of the things about being a New Englander. And to be fair, where I'm from in Ohio, it's similar but different. It gets dark a little earlier in New England, which I actually think makes it slightly worse. And the winters are slightly harder. Ohio's not easy though. You know, it's still you get your winter for sure. But I am looking forward to the sun being back, it being a little warmer, and things just feeling a little more nice and hopeful.
So true. Yeah, it's like a different quality of life going down there. And like living there year round, it's a little bit different. Like you just feel like it's like absence of seasons is a little bit disorienting in a different way. But going down there when you've been up here is like such a nice quality of life change.
It's like like I think I just have one of those bodies that needs the sun. My partner, for whatever reason, he doesn't like the sun that much. I need a lot of sunshine in my life. It just makes me feel a lot better. So I'm very much looking forward to being in that sun for a few days, reading my books, hanging out, not doing very much. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That'll be so nice. Yeah, just the sun today, driving home, like commuting home from work, it was so nice. I was like, I will take the sunshine and hold on to it while we go back into the darkness, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's my partner's birthday today, my significant other's, I should say, my husband's birthday today, and I'm so excited for him. We have some good things planned.
Yay!
I'll tell you all about it later.
Yay! Good stuff.
Yeah. So those are all full check-ins. Let's get the F into our awards here, right? Let's
love
switch friggin' gears. So first off, tell me what you would, okay, by the way, friends, if you haven't been here for an awards episode, then you've been missing out because we have tons of good content in our awards episodes. But the main point is we have 8 awards, all of which have the word test somewhere in them, even if they're like the suffix of the word. So you'll notice some weird emphases as we say the name of the awards. But the first one is called protest this mess. So what mess did you protest? This is like the most like, like mean, negative, like what are we protesting as like a thing where like, oh no, that's not good.
I am protesting, sorry, I'm making my awards a little bigger. I am protesting Craig this season on Southern Charm, and in particular, his behavior when he drinks, when he is really unkind to women. He's been unkind to Austin too, and they have their whole weird thing, and like he's just a little like scathing and overly sensitive to people in a way that like he gives it out but can't take it. Like he says some mean things, but you give him the slightest of slight and he will go the frick in. In particular, like his behavior towards Vanita 2 episodes ago was really shitty and no one stood up for her, and that sucked. And she was just trying to be a good friend to Austin. And
Right.
it wasn't even that bad. Like, it was like, it wasn't even like specific, direct. Like,
Right.
it was low hanging fruit, and he took it too far.
Yeah.
And then most recently, like, I have mixed feelings about Sally depending on the context and what we're talking about. But at the end of this most recent episode, he really went for her as well. So it's like, just you could just not, like.
No.
He needs some emotion regulation skills. He needs less yes men in his life and more people to like tell him what the fuck is going on with him, because it's not cute. I don't like it.
No, and it makes you wonder like what exactly Paige served there, because, you know, she's very forward and she's happy to give feedback, but I think it was sort of the way, it reminds me of that conversation he had with someone else where he's like, we should call Paige and she'll tell you how it is, kind of, that she's not actually telling them how it is about them. She's talking about whoever else and like their shit pretty seriously. Like, I mean, not seriously, but like directly. So I wonder if she also actually kind of amounted to a yes person too for him, where like she was still supportive of him, even though she was able to be direct about other things or about other, you know, I don't know.
Other people. Yeah. And then just grew kind of tired of it or something. I don't know.
Right, because she kind of had to bite her tongue. I mean, we even saw that she didn't feel right about him knowing she was anxious about the relationship. I mean, she doesn't really want him to know, right, like much of it at all about how she actually feels. So yeah, I feel like that probably over time would be quite exhausting.
Yeah. Poor Paige. I hope he didn't do that to her.
Do what?
Like, do the yelling at her, and it's very demeaning the way he comes at women. I don't like it. It's
yeah. I feel like he probably did the opposite, where he like babied her, or like, you know, saw her as like precious, or like he's probably possessive instead of mean.
None of it's great.
Like, we haven't seen him be mean to Charlie, for example. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
No, he treats her like this precious. It's almost like a middle school relationship. It's like not. I kind of don't like it. It's just like either shit or get off the pot here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is weirdly precious, for sure. Yeah. I like her a lot, but yeah, I agree. It's a weird dynamic that he's setting up there. And then he also like did that in front of her, so like I'm glad she gets to see that part of him. I was glad he did that, but it just shows how unaware he is of that behavior and how ugly it is. Yeah, and sexist, misogynistic. Sort of like adjacent to that. Are you watching the new video?
I fell off the chat on that one.
Okay. Not super shocking. It's not like the best or whatever, but I will say probably saw, if you saw even an episode of it, do you remember that there's the two brothers, one of whom was the one who was biphobic, actually they're cousins, one of whom was the one that was biphobic on Perfect Match.
Yes.
So him and his cousin is the one with like the eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I said right away, I was like, bro, eyebrows bro, on VPR is my mess that I'm protesting. And I also decided to call him eyebrows. He's the eyebrows bro. So eyebrows. So the eyebrows is a lot for me, especially when juxtaposed against the like more evolved version of like a dick bag, which is like what I think of as Shane. So do you remember Shane? He's the one who's been shot or like had a spine thing or something. Shane's like the very good looking guy who was like there with Natalie one time, and then she was upset he brought another girl there. He doesn't actually work at Vanderpump Rules. Yeah,
right.
I mean,
and he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yes.
Yeah, I don't think he does. Yeah, so he, I don't think he did. He's sort of, like, he's shocked me a little bit. He's very good looking, but, like, how he came off right away, including very vulnerable to the camera in the way that he's, like, a total dick. Like, he's pretty open about the fact, like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to date her, or whatever. And I sort of was like, wow, that's forward. But what I've come to find is actually, like, he's pretty emotionally intelligent. Like, there are moments where I'm like, damn, like, okay, look at you with that thought. Like, very good point. Or, like, oh, look at you at understanding what's happening or whatever. Or, like, good for you for having a process conversation or da-da-da. So there are moments where I'm like, wow, okay. So he's sort of what I think of as, like, the evolved version of sort of, like, a 90s sort of like bro dick bag. It actually almost parallels Jesse Solomon, except in the way that, here's why though, in the way that it's like, because they have been close to death, they don't want to settle down because they don't know if any minute they could die or whatever. It's sort of like that idea. Like, so in that way, he's been very like playing the field. He very much acknowledges he doesn't want to date someone seriously. And also I think he has had more relational experience than Jesse Solomon has. But basically, so there's this, and then there's eyebrows. And eyebrows is like, it's like so 90s, like, he's like, go for it, dude. Like about a woman that like both of them had sort of dated or whatever. Like he's just like so objectifying of women, and like he like brought one on a date and then she didn't know it was a date, and he's sort of like, like just like being possessive about what happened between them. And then like I don't know. It's just like so much stuff where I'm just like, what is this archaic stuff coming out of your mouth? Like, where is this coming from? So I think he needs to be like brought to the 21st century and ideally not a dick, but like at least closer to Shane if he's going to be, you know, in that way, at least be honest and open with how he is in the way that Shane is more so. So I think he's somebody I protest. I don't like the way he treats women. I don't like the way he's just like a whole hot mess. And then he's like pretty also dated in the way it's like really like watching something from VH1 from like the early 2000s, you know?
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Oof.
Not good. Yeah. I protest it.
Yes, me too. Oof. Well, in a related award, who for you is doing the mostest? What is the most cringe, embarrassing thing that you've seen in your award screen recently?
So my award screen, I give this award to the Amanda Kyle of it all. And pause there, because do I mean Amanda Kyle from Summer House or Amanda Kyle from Beverly Hills? Because they both have an Amanda Kyle dyad.
Whoa!
I know.
Wild.
I know.
I think you mean Summer House. You said that.
Yeah. No, I do, yeah. But I could have meant either. Yeah, no, I really do. I actually, both of them, I do actually protest, to be fair. They both are doing the mostest. But yeah, the Amanda Kyle is like real cringy, because we've talked about that on a previous podcast, so I don't need to say much more about it, but it's just like so cringeworthy just seeing them in this dynamic in front of everybody. And it reminds me of somebody in my program a long time ago when I was in the program as a trainee getting my doctorate that used to like bring their boyfriend or their partner, let's say, whatever, their significant other to the like parties and stuff on the weekends and things, and then they would get in a fight in front of everyone, and then they'd start asking people their opinion on it right in front of them, and it was like I know, so it reminds me of that. I think, and I can say that even if they were listening to this, which they are definitely not listening, but even if they were, they would know what I was talking about, and it's okay. Because it just was one of those things where, like, I think they instinctually couldn't help it, but it also was just, like, wildly inappropriate and, like, just real uncomfy. So that's what it feels like is happening between Amanda and Kyle, and I just want to be like, just get the fuck out of there and have a couples therapy, and then get done with this.
Right. Their entire relationship has been on reality TV. Like,
True.
I wonder what that does. Or not their entire relationship, but from the jump, they have been responding probably to fan feedback and to other people's feedback. And I wonder what that does to your dynamic.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. They've been on TV since their relationship started, but they have the rest of the year where they're not on camera, right? I get what you're saying.
Right.
But yeah, since the beginning of their relationship, they've also already been on TV and responding to feedback. Yeah, that's got to be a real, like, first of all, buzzkill for a lot of stuff. And then, like, also just, like, really oppressive, frankly. And then sometimes maybe a little revealing. I don't know.
And sometimes kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you're Amanda and people say that you should break up with Kyle because you're better than him, like, that's going to be a nice ego boost.
A little bit ego boost. And, like, also a little bit of, like, ooh, shit, am I really... Like, it's sort of, like, embarrassing, I guess, too. Sort of, like, everyone's, like, embarrassed that you're with them. I don't know. I feel like I would feel embarrassed I was with that person if everyone was, like, get out of there, and then I don't really want to leave or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a lot of feelings at once all the time. And feeling also quite intruded upon, I imagine, too. And then also fearful. Like, she must feel so fucking anxious about turning on social media, knowing she could have all this shit in her DMs of people being like, saw him this weekend, slept at my house this weekend, or whatever.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's got to do a number on you.
Brutal. Yeah.
Brutal.
So what about you?
Also, Kyle and Amanda.
They're just so cringe.
I went for a specific moment when she jumped in the pool with her bra on and he freaked me out. I hated that. I hated it for a couple of reasons, because they have gotten in the pool with less clothes on in previous times. It was so possessive. It was so, it was so hypocritical of him. And it was so like a kid not feeling in control of his toy or something.
Yes.
And I hated it. I really didn't like that moment.
Yes.
She can do whatever the fuck she wants with her body.
Fucking right.
She does not need his approval to jump in the pool with a bra on. She does not need his approval to go outside naked. She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Exactly.
It was a really tacky fight on his part, I thought.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of cringe moments between them, but I cringed, I think, even a little harder at that one.
Yeah. No, that was brutal. It was brutal. Like when we brought it up last time too, that was the first thing I said, where I was like, you were naked in front of everyone. Like, it's just something so, it's like the immediate, like, remembering. Yeah, it's the immediate moment that's sort of like the peak of the embarrassing shit. Like, and it's all Kyle, not like their dynamic. It's him and his behavior that's so gross in that moment. And by the way, I loved that. I think it was maybe Solomon who was like, hey, did I hear you say that? Like, did I hear you saying that, like, she you know, you're giving her a hard time, like when we've all been naked together or whatever. I was like, yes, thank you for holding him to task. It was so well done. And by then, Kyle actually had reflected a little bit more on it. I mean, yeah, the possessive kid thing is exactly right. The point for him was like, it's okay when she and I are in a good place and we can both get naked in the pool together. But if we're not in a good place, then she's giving her body to someone else without me being there to give it. It's like, no, bro, she's not yours to be giving at all. So back it up.
And if you're having those feelings, that is something to talk about in therapy, like between each other with a third party. Like, I'm feeling like we're not in a good place and I'm feeling less comfortable with these aspects of our dynamic and things we're doing in the past. I recognize I can't control what you do. This is how I'm feeling. But the way that he did it was just so shitty. Like, it just sucked. It really sucked. It made her, like, I could just imagine being a woman having fun. But then it's like that. It's kind of like Tyra Banks in the early 2000s, that internalized shame, right? Of like, what does this mean about me or something? Or like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And I felt bad for her. She was trying to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. It can then get internalized as like I'm doing something wrong when I'm naked at all, or like in my bra even. But yeah, I mean, I think some of it also probably has to do with Ben, because Ben is so much better looking, to be honest. And then also, like, you know, it's like when he was with Ben in the pool with her the first time, they were all in it together. But this time it was Ben and her. And I bet they were sort of like flirty maybe. We didn't see that part, but I hope they were.
Yeah, me too.
You go. I love it. I spent the whole time being like, is he in the pool? I was like, is he in the pool? Is he in the pool yet? I was like, we're Ben. This is so good. Okay, fabulous. So this next one is called Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3, which is either good or bad producer antics. Like, so the producers are in the chat, they're doing something to change things. Do you like it or do you not?
Okay, so I thought this was so funny, and my partner and I were both laughing about this. But Eric just becomes a traitor. The next day, Rob just laying in the sunlight. Like, his angles are good. He looks like he's having a great time, just kind of chilling. It just is so emblematic of the whole thing. And it read really funny. The way Eric talked about it was really funny. Just the whole thing. But it is like, that man has so much pretty privilege and he doesn't have to work that hard. Truly. And that is intersectionality theory to so many degrees. Like, he has all the privileged identities that one could have, and he is just chilling. He is just out here chilling.
He's a super agent.
Yeah. And for other people, it's not that easy for a whole lot of reasons based on the identities they hold. And then the experiences you have and how much you have to question yourself based on those identities. Like, that man is chilling. And
no questioning.
Yeah. And it's like, it can make one really angry, and it makes me angry. It makes people with more marginalized identities with me probably even more angry, because what the fuck? But like, in that moment, I found it hilarious. It just was. No,
they purposely set it up to be perfect like that. Exactly. I know exactly what moment you're talking about. Definite producer moment. Definitely like set up as like Eric's like all anxious and worried, and then we just see Rob just absolutely vegging out. Like, everything's fine. This is good. Now we can like release a little bit. Yeah, totally.
He found his lighting too. Like, his face looked great. He was like, it was just funny. It just made me laugh.
Absolutely. Great example.
His stupid sweater vest and like his belly show. Like, how many people in the world can pull off that dumbass outfit? Rob can.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob is the one. Rob is the one. And then so much so that even Bob the drag queen gets it and likes the outfits. I don't know if people were watching that, the after show of Bob the drag queen and Rob, Boston Rob and Bob the drag queen did a podcast that's now, by the way, that's a whole thing at least Peacock's doing, where they're making podcasts also video podcasts. So like, oh, you know what I could have included and I totally forgot was House of Villains, which just came back for its 3rd season, and this time it's on Peacock, not on Paramount Plus. And by the way, real good, enjoyed it, and it has a number of people that we know. Christine from Selling Sunset's on it.
Ooh, I like her.
She's great. I love her as well. She's great on it too. Really great on it. And then it has a bunch of other people. Like, it has Plain Jane from RuPaul's Drag Race, and great. Obviously, yes, and she's great on it. I love her. She's so good on it. And then also people like Paul from Big Brother, which you wouldn't know, but I love him. I loved him on Big Brother, so he's in it. And then Tyson from Survivor. Do you know Tyson from Survivor? He's like tall, blonde, skinny. He's also happens to be the one who does the podcast for Survivor. Like, he's like the official, not the official one, because the official one's Jeff Probst, but he also has
yeah.
He's been in like 4 seasons or 3 or 4 seasons. And he's won one, I think. But yeah, he is real good, but he's in it too. So he's doing their official podcast, and what they're doing is making an after show of it that's also on Peacock. That's video of him doing the podcast. So it's sort of the same exact thing that they're doing with Traitors, where they have Boston Rob and Bob the Drag Queen doing a podcast together, also video of it on Peacock as the after show. So there's the after show model that we're used to from like all the Bravo shows, and then this is like a new type of after show that Peacock is doing that's more of a podcast. It's an interesting crossover. It makes a lot of sense. I was sort of like, okay, good, we're not getting rid of podcasts yet. We can sort of like settle in. Maybe we'll be the official one for Queer Love or something.
Yes.
One could hope. Yeah, exactly. So I love that. I was like sort of like, okay, job security, job longevity. But yeah, point being though that is, why was I talking about it? Oh, an example of the same thing. And also just whatever, we're done here. Anyway, point being that we're moving on. I have nothing else to say about that. Where did we start, though? Why was I talking about the after show? Because I was talking about Bob and Bob. Oh, yeah. So they did a fashion segment every time they had the after show between Bob and Rob. And so they'd be like, this outfit does it for me, this outfit doesn't. And it was fun how much they actually aligned on things. It was very cute. I actually loved them together. They were a great dyad. It was so fucking adorable and just wonderful. Yeah, really good. And so, but one of the things was like how much Bob the Drag Queen loved Rob's outfits. And Rob Roush's outfits. And then Boston Rob would be like, "Where? Come again?" Yeah,
Put this on any other human.
Yeah, maybe that. But also just like, yeah, exactly, right. It wouldn't be attractive on any other human. Thank you. Yeah, I get that now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
It just only works because it's him. Good looking dude. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. So my testing 1, 2, 3 was also a producer antic that actually, in some ways, I'm not even really sure if I would say it's good or bad, but it was one that I noticed, and I think this will be a little bit. This is definitely not. You said you'd seen some of Vanderpump Rules, the new one. You definitely haven't seen this far, but it was a recent thing. So on the episode I just watched of it, they skipped ahead by like months, and I don't even really know how long. But basically, what happened was one of their main character, her name is Angelica. She was brought onto the SUR staff at the beginning of the season, which makes me think she was like a producer plant, like she was a show plant. Gorgeous young woman, very, very early in life experience. She was still living in her ex-boyfriend's apartment with him, and then sort of like had all these sort of like possessive things happening with the boys and blah. So she was actually with Eyebrows first, okay? Was sort of dating him, got very upset with him when they sort of quote unquote broke up, and he was like, we weren't really dating, I don't get it. And then she like came for him very publicly, very rudely, like talking about his penis pump and all this stuff. It was awful taste, in awful taste, very, very bad taste. And then she started dating Shane, sort of. She like wanted to date Shane, and Shane was like something going on here I don't really want to be involved with. So but then now, so okay, then there's the pause. Then when we come back from the pause, it turns out Angelica has been gone all this time from LA, and that now she's finally back with her brand new pair of boobs that she got, and having done, I think, a little bit of mental health stuff, it seemed like, maybe. And so I think she maybe like went to go get her shit together sort of a little bit, but also got her tits done, and then now she's back, so now we can return to filming. And it just, to me, was like sort of, I was sort of like, I don't like, it shows how central she is to what they think the show is, and she is a drama like focus, focal point. But it just felt sort of like, I don't know. She doesn't seem to actually have a healthier attitude, so for that makes me worried for her. She seems very childish, I would say, like very early in life experience about her views towards Shane. She still clearly wants to make him jealous, and then when she tries to make him jealous, he does the same back. She's sort of like, oh my god, like, it's sort of like, wait, you did the same thing? Like, I don't know, it's like really childish and hard to watch. The behaviors are childish, and it's hard to watch. So I would say the testing 1, 2, 3 on that is just sort of an interesting thing I noticed. The other thing, by the way, is Audrey, who's the blonde woman. Did you see her? She looks like Scarlett Johansson. She's gorgeous.
Yes. Yeah. I saw her birthday. That was the last episode I watched, was her birthday.
Yes. So I love her. She's very emotionally tuned in, emotionally intelligent. I would say that it's not like flawless, but she's just like really great. I love her, and she's a great girl's girl in general. But she just did a comedy stand-up show in this latest episode where this happened with the boobs coming back and stuff, and she like tore Angelica a new one in a way that was like probably unnecessary. She like went a little bit hard in the paint, and I kind of don't blame her for trying to work through some shit, but it was probably a little bit too much. But other than that one instance, I would say she's a very good girl's girl and somebody I really appreciate watching for Vanderpump. I'm glad they have her. Yeah. So
well, what about is it? I think
yes. You're on it. You got it.
About your test results. This is about holding castmates accountable, reading their results after being tested. Who has shown the most or least growth?
I'm going to give this one to Amanda Francis, because after watching this season, we should be seeing her learning and growing. I would like to see her say, oh, wow, I didn't realize how rude that was. Or like, oh, wow, I get now why that was something that they would see as like problematic. But she's not doing that. She's not saying anything like that. In fact, she comes on to the after show, which is how I know this. I was like hoping on the after show we'd see some of that falling on the sword-ish type stuff. Maybe not falling on the sword, just like some fucking reflection. Just a wee bit, if you will. And instead she's quite defensive. So for me, I would say that's a lack of growth.
She's very annoying.
She's quite annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a nice thing to say. I find her irritating to watch at this stage of her development. Yeah. And I feel like a reductionistic view of it can be like, oh, millennial versus Gen X and boomer. But it's kind of more than that to me. Like, that's like an unnuanced way of looking at it. It's more than just a generational difference.
It is.
Like,
Yeah, I love you say that. It's a great setup for another shameless plug to listen to my deep dive, because I talk about like all of what I think are the factors at play, which are many. They are many and varied, and not just that, but that is one of them exactly. Some of it is the like generational differences, but that's only a piece of a much bigger pie, if you will. So that's mine. What is your most release grown?
I'm going to shout out some least grown men, and I don't even think I have to go that much into detail. Right. Well, I already did on 2 of them. So I'll just say Craig, Kyle, and Ben from Below Deck Med are acting like children. What the fuck are these man babies? What are we doing? It is not okay. Just because you're drunk does not mean you can treat women poorly. So please stop.
Yes.
I'm not impressed. I don't like it. Know better. You're on TV. If this is what you do when you're on TV, what do you do when you're not on TV? I don't like it. Like,
great point.
Learn from your past mistakes and do better. They've been at this shit for so many years. All 3 of these man babies.
Yes.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yes. Is Below Deck Med the one that is Jason as the captain right now?
Yes.
And then is Ben the one who's the chef?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was so mean to his sous chef. So mean to her, and had to get a new sous chef. And like he drunkenly yelled at her in something that was clearly about him. And it was awful. It just
I can't stand it.
Need to happen.
No. And I only saw the first episode of that because I wanted to watch the crossover with Salt Lake City, which was just the first episode. So I just watched that, and I immediately could tell Ben was like not grown. He's like, the last time I was on here was like 10 years ago. They showed footage from that, and I was like, oh, I remember that. And then now I'm like, oh, he's the same person. Like, yeah.
The same person, but more insecure. Like,
yeah, right. That makes a great point.
With only just more hangups, unfortunately.
Yeah, great
not
point.
The growth that can come from becoming more insecure because things have happened.
Right.
He's not there.
Right. It's like being insecure in some ways over as you age should bring you down a notch. But instead he's like just as cocky in certain contexts, and then yet built on top of trying to defend against his insecurity. Right.
And it's not cute. It's not cute at all.
Well, the nice thing about that is that those are also very good setups for this next award, which is the Testosterone Award. Boned Award is my pride and glory, which is that it's like testosterone, but it's testosterone because these are people that boned themselves with their high levels of testosterone getting in the way of like being a relational human being to people around them and kind and compassionate. To whom this means that it actually ends up being also like racist, heterosexist, sexist for sure, patriarchal moment. So sort of like our socio-political in the negative sense item. To whom would you give that award?
West and Jesse get it for me for their treatment of Sierra. So I actually think Jesse likes Sierra. He kind of, I don't know if you've seen the most recent episode, but he kind of plays all of his cards on the table, and he's actually like crushing pretty hard. The way he communicates that to West is to say, well, we might hook up drunkenly. And it would just be like for fun, you know, because he's essentially asking permission to hook up with her and try. I think I could tell that he's trying to soft launch the idea, but in the process, he's insulting Sierra, right? And making it seem frivolous when he seems to really like her, based on his literal words that you will hear soon. West responds to this feeling upset but making it like, oh, these guys told me, because essentially Jesse said that thing in front of a room of a bunch of guys to, in their view, essentially stake his claim, which is gross. And then West is mad. he's like pissed that Jesse's, and it's like, you have no right. You have no right. You fucked her over. And now he kind of wants to make out with her again, which is kind of cute. Like, I like it for her.
Yeah.
I love that she's getting the power back in that situation. That makes me happy. But like, both of them, you don't even know if she wants to make out with you. And like, you cannot, you have no like bearing over what happens. So it's just, it's not cute. I don't.
It's objectifying and possessive.
Yeah. And they both look like shit. And you know who looks like the badass she is Sierra. So love to see it for you, Sierra. You deserve all of the flowers. And these boys should be begging for you. And if you do want to make out with one of them, great. No judgment, no shame. Live your life. But they don't get to dictate that.
No.
So, yeah.
And I feel confident she'd be able to tell them that, hopefully, too. Especially now that she's seeing this back. Like, if she's with anybody. Apparently, there is still, like, a little bit of a fallout between Jesse Solomon and West in terms of Sierra right now. So, I don't know if that's old tea or what, but apparently that's still kind of going on.
I can see how that tea is bubbling based on this most recent episode is very good. I think you'll like it.
Can't wait.
But yeah, that's a great point, too. She's in the place. She will shut this shit down. She's got it. Doesn't need me to tell her what's what. She knows.
You're validating it. You're affirming.
Yes. Yes. These boys need to sit down.
Sit your ass down. Thank you, Butch. Thank you much. I was going to say thank you, bye, and then I was going to say thank you much, so I said thank you, Butch.
Thank you, Butch.
Thank you, Butch.
I love it. Thank you, Butch, so much.
Thank you, Butch, so much. You can sit the fuck down. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, great. I love that one. That's so good. I have a subtle and a less subtle version. So the subtle version was the Rob Roush of it all. So I was going to say the subtle version of it is basically the fact that he has like, it's not even that subtle to us, but it's more subtle than the other thing I'm going to say, which is that he has feigned respect for women. He pretends like he really respects women. And then the whole thing with both Candace and fucking Lisa Rinna is that he pretended to be like respectful of them. He says they're so smart, yada yada. And then was like a total fucking dick about going behind their backs and betraying them. Had no issue betraying them, made it all their fault that he was betraying them. And then even as he's getting called out by Candace about it, he's just sort of like, you know, like, disavows his own power in the situation. He also tries to think of himself. He clearly is like a dates older women kind of guy. I think he maybe even said that directly because he thinks of himself as mature. And yet he's perpetuating a lot of masculine ideals, including through his total lack of respect for Lisa and Candace, where they're coming from, the ease with which he flipped on them. And then also through choosing a man to recruit when he could have very easily chosen Maura. And then, by the way, not only that, he then barks orders at Maura. This might now be 2 episodes ago. It is 2 episodes ago because I haven't seen the finale yet. So 2 episodes ago, he then fucking barks orders at her and then was so shocked and hurt by Natalie for having a fucking plan. It's like, I'm sorry. Like, the actual fuck. So to me, he gets that on the, you know, because of all these not minutiae, they're not minutiae at all. Because of all these pieces put together, he has raised to the level of testosterone for me. The less subtle version is where I'm finally giving Love is Blind universe a nod, because the reason this is Ohio right now is because it was supposed to be Boston, and Love is Blind Boston was, as of the week of it, which my client actually pointed out, and I knew about this drama from before it, but then I didn't know that happened, that the week of it was withdrawn and Ohio was put out instead, which means they had to suddenly switch all their advertising the week of, which is wild. So my hypothesis about why that was is because there was all this drama prior to it coming out, Boston. By the way, this time of year when Love is Blind comes out, this is their like A team. Like this is the season that that was filmed by their A team, and then their B team does the other. Yeah. So Boston was meant to be their A #1 season, and Ohio was not. It was supposed to be their B season, and so they had to move up Ohio and kick Boston to the curb. And what I know about the drama is there was one cast member who does not get engaged, but the whole pods, he's apparently a big focus because they couldn't even edit him out, which is this guy who was raping women and videotaping against their will, like during part of it, and then told, like, they would tell him they didn't want, you know, whatever. So it's disgusting and like absolutely appalling what he was doing. And there were women who had filed police reports. There were women who were all coming out on social media. One that had been raped by him since he was done filming. So it's like all this, absolutely appalling. And women were totally holding Love is Blind to task. And they could have, for example, edited him out, which they sometimes do. They apparently couldn't do that. So they were warning people, okay, he's just in the pod sequence, And I think enough revolt happened that they withdrew it, which I'm kind of glad they did. And also Boston kind of sucks. So I'm not like upset about that. I think Boston is that place. Like Boston is that like absolutely misogynistic rape, you know, supportive rape culture space and racist, you know, city, which I'm sorry for those of you from Boston who like maybe don't fit that mold, but like that is a huge part of the overall culture there. And it's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So of course it showed up on a show like this, which is a microcosm of dating, right? Like, so I'm glad that Love is Blind was able to just be like, all right, goodbye. We'll do a different season.
And it speaks to something you've talked about before, which is like better vetting for these shows. Because what the fuck what is the situation that we are putting people in where this happens?
Yes.
Like, it's a safety issue.
It's a safety issue. And they don't, like, someone brought up a good point for this as an example from this before they actually pulled Boston. Someone's making the point, a woman, one of the women, I think, who was a victim brought up a good point, which is sort of like, you're putting the cast out after it's been filmed. Put the cast out before you film and just let people give you suggestions and feedback.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to tell us who's in it. Like, give us a wide net. We'll tell you feedback on all of them. And then don't tell it. We don't need to know who the final cast is. That could be the surprise later. But, like, give us, a chance. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's not that hard, frankly.
No, it shouldn't be. Jesus.
Let us help.
But let us cleanse that energy now.
Woo!
We're on to the Bechdel test. So this is the most feminist, anti-racist, gay moment that you've seen recently.
Yes. Or cast member, which in this case I did cast members. I gave
Nice.
3. Well, one's like a moment / cast member, but I gave you 3 cast members. One is Erica Jane from Beverly Hills with her advice for Amanda Francis. And I like the way she's sort of like taking her under her wing a little bit and just sort of like, frankly, here's what's up. And also, I will throw Amanda the smallest bone in this case because I mostly don't I actually help contextualize her in the deep dive. It's not like I'm like a total whatever, but I think, judgmental person about it. But I do think in this case, this was like a positive thing I would say about her, which is that she responded well to Erica saying, like you really need to just own it. When someone says you said something, just own that you said it. And I actually think that Amanda had tried to do that and she could have defended herself right here very well. But instead she was like, yep, got it. Like, instead I was like, yes, good. Just like that, even that was growth, like right there. So even though I said she's least grown, the least grown is about the other behaviors that are wildly annoying. But, so I will give her that. But Erica doing that was such a girl thing. And I just adore Erica. Because Erica had a lot to say about Amanda. Just sort of like, what is up? This is so annoying. And so for her to still kind of go against that and sort of give her the background was great. Rachel Zoe, period. Fucking love that bitch so much. She's so great.
God. I just got chills because I'm obsessed with her on this show. I love learning more about her. She's fabulous. She's
phenomenal.
Fabulous.
She's light.
Yeah.
She's fucking great. She's so honest. She's so vulnerable. I think she's doing a great job of knowing how much and when to be vulnerable without it being overwhelming to the viewer or to the person she's talking to. And not that anything should be overwhelming, but there is sort of a line there where she like she's not trauma dumping, but she's like, sort of that's the line, I suppose. She does a great job there. She does a great job knowing how and when to collaborate with whom of the other women too, like knowing whom to be talking to and then how much and when. And also knowing when to give good narrative versus like support. So like some of how she's talking to us about Amanda is spot the fuck on. And it's not even like judgy. It's just sort of like, I wouldn't say that. Like, or like I'm new and like I didn't do that, but she's not sort of like this bitch, which she could do. So I think she
wears things lightly almost.
Exactly. Like her grandma says. Yes.
Yeah. And she can go there still.
Yes.
Like it's not that she's just not going to do it about everything because you can't do it about everything. She just kind of keeps it moving.
Yeah.
Like I like it about her.
Yeah. She calls shit how it is and doesn't get too belabored about it. Belaboring. Yeah. She's not belaboring any of it, but she does call shit how it is. And then I like that she'll like meet Erica up and be like, so here's the thing I think. And then they're both like, yep. And then they're like, whatever, they're not like being mean. They're not being mean. It's what you and I talk about where we're sort of like, we talk about other people in a way of like, how do we support them and see them do better? Like not in a way of like, this person is like doomed and we hate them or something. I don't know. It's always like with the like best intentions. And I think that's sort of where she's coming from too, which even though she can be like a little sassy, it's not like mean. I don't know. I think it's great. She's perfect modeling for like a good woman friend. And then my last one is for Sierra, period. But actual period.
Yes.
I said nothing else.
I love it.
Just give her that.
I love it. Well said.
Thank you so much.
Accounts.
Thank you.
Mine is actually about Erica too, and it's the conversation that Erica, Denise, and Sutton had in the most recent episode.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm actually caught up on that apparently. Yes.
Yeah, nice. Where Denise, she disclosed pretty serious things that happened in her last relationship.
Domestic violence.
Abuse that happened, domestic violence that happened in her last relationship. And it could have been seen with Erica as like taking that from her or like, but it felt to me that it was more like, I understand where you're coming from and I'm coming from a place of empathy, especially given their history where Denise was the last times we've seen her on camera, she has not been doing well. And I think this provides context for that because she was so like present here. So like she just, I'm really happy for her with how she showed up. And I appreciated that connection where, you know, Erica disclosed something too that was news to me. And I'm glad she told us. And I thank you, Denise, for sharing too. And yeah. Sutton did a good job not making it about her in that moment.
I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God.
I was like, please don't do it. And she didn't. So that was good. Or at least it wasn't shown that way.
Exactly what I was about to say. Exactly. At least they didn't show us that, which is good. I mean, good for them for deciding we couldn't handle it if they did. Because I could not have handled it if she did it in that instance. And you're right. There's something different about Erica Jane doing kind of the same thing. She also said something about herself, but it didn't feel like that. It felt much more like solidarity building. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was nice. It was a nice relational moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
And Sutton kind of bearing witness because she wasn't adding much, which is fine. She didn't need to.
Yeah.
All for the better.
Sometimes she does need to just sit down. So that's exactly what she did there, which was great. It reminds me, by the way, of the abortion conversation on New York, Real Housewives of New York. Yeah. When like Jenna brought up her abortion story without it becoming the main focus, but in a way that was solidarity building. And also it was her first time disclosing it, which probably same with Erica Jane.
It's so lovely. I mean, you know, I'm sure that's complicated to do when you're unsure how to, you know, navigate it because you haven't processed it fully yet. But what a gift to viewers who can relate. And so many can, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah. A very non-judgmental way. This is a great non-judgmental way of seeing it and like digested by somebody else. And to be able to feel that you can do it too. You can digest it too if it's being digested this way by these folks. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah.
So how about bestest? They were the best test of friends. They were the worst test of friends. So these are like friendships or relationships that are good or bad. What did you find?
Craig and Austin, I'm over it. I don't even want to watch it anymore. It's lost its interest to me. Like, work it out or don't. It's annoying at this point. I actually kind of like Austin sometimes.
Yeah.
I do feel like, he can be like a dick to women. But women also tend to want to be friends with him afterwards, which tells me that like he has an ability to connect with women, and his sister loves him. Like they're really close. Yeah. There's a bit of an emotional intelligence there where I think he understands women a little better, which to me codes as understanding interpersonal dynamics a little better than maybe Craig does. I just think that he gives in to the petty bullshit and can't get out of his own way. The opposite of Rachel Zoe. He doesn't keep it moving.
Exactly. He belabors it a little bit more. Exactly.
Yes. But I'm just over their whole thing, whatever the fuck it is. And also Vanita and Sally. I want better from Sally. I feel like she has done Vanita dirty. She hasn't been honest with her. I hear this friendship that was so good talked about, but I don't see it in action. I see Sally, choosing boys over Vanita, which actually is fine. If you want to be with boys, you can be with boys. Like, that's your right. It's just the lack of upfrontness, and then it's just coming out sideways. And then the way that Vanita gets treated by Sally, like when Vanita does try to reach out, then Sally kind of closes the door, and that I think is unkind. Like I think that Sally needs to meet her in the middle and not do whatever the fuck she's doing, where it seems like this gaggle of blonde girls or blonde women, I'm sorry, West, what the fuck his name is? The guy Whitman. Yeah, and he yelled. I was like, what is that? What are you doing here? And I like Whitner, but I was like, none of your business, sir. Sit down or get out. It's just, she's just so mistreated by that cast. Like, it almost feels like she's on the wrong show. Like, I feel like this show is trying to make her smaller instead of empowering her and allowing her to like get her voice. Or not that she doesn't have her voice. Of course she does. But within the context of these people, she's not able to shine in the way that she could. And I think that's a damn shame.
You know what we're missing this year that would do more of that is Leva. Leva used to let her voice shine more, and she would agree with her and build her up and be like, this is a problem. This is a fucking problem. You were right, So I feel like we missed a little bit of Leva in that scenario. And also, by the way, Leva's show is gone. So where the fuck did Leva go? She's gone. I hate that. I actually like Leva, so that's a bummer. And not that she doesn't have her own things, but I actually like her. So that's a big part of why Vanita is even more so sort of like against a white background. It's like a black woman in a white world, even more so than it already was. in like a weird, and then therefore judged by people against a white cast, which is really not okay. And also I totally agree. It's very much like ganging up on her energy. And then I think Vanita doubts her own views and sort of like, I'm sorry, like, and I really feel for her there. I love the way you put that she's like on the wrong show. We need a new show. We need a not white backdrop to her experiences. And at least she needs more compatriots in that way. If like at worst she has to stay on the show, then at least get her some fucking people of color to support her viewpoints. And I actually liked seeing her talk to Austin. I liked their conversation. That was like one opportunity to sort of see her in a more like voice celebrated way. I totally agree. They're totally mishandling this. Here's my hypothesis. I think what happened was Sally and Vanita became very good friends off camera because Sally realized that Vanita had much more airtime than Sally did. And so Sally was like, if I get in with Vanita in the off season, then I'll get also her airtime opportunities in addition to mine. And so then when
that's how it feels to me too, which I don't love.
Yeah. And so then when they came back, and actually the cameras were mostly about Sally, like not even really Vanita. It was like more Sally than anything. Then she was sort of like, oh, don't need this friendship as much anymore. So now I can just make it about my drama or whatever with her. And yeah, it just took a total turn, which is quite fucked.
Really is. Yeah. It makes me sad. It makes me sad for Vanita because she deserves better and is coming, I think, from a genuine place where Sally, I don't know where Sally's coming from.
No, I don't either. I mean, she's coming from a genuine place, but it's just not perhaps as, I don't know. I won't say it. I think, there's more to it. There's more to Vanita's experience, I think, than we're getting. And whereas Sally, I feel like we are probably getting the whole experience. So
I think that's a fair read. Yeah, Sally's not really holding much back.
No. I fucking love that she got fucking chickens to impress Craig. I fucking love it. I love it.
And actually, something happens with her and Austin in the most recent episode where she kind of like, I mean, if Austin was like, stop this, I would be like, this is too much. I kind of love how bold she is in her pursuit of him.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Essentially, like I'll give her credit for that. Like, it's kind of endearing.
Yeah.
I wish her treatment of other women was better.
That's it. She is much better or more attuned to how to interact with men. I mean, I think she was engaged to this guy for a long time. When she went on The Bachelor, she'd been engaged to this guy. I think she was isolated by that guy. I think she's only really had experience in her male relationships, like relationships with men. So when it comes to women relationships, she is new to it, which is why the Vanita thing felt so good, I think, too. Like, I think that was unexpected how much she liked the relationship with Vanita after she was using it to begin with, and getting into it. Or at least subliminally guided by that hope that she would get more camera time by becoming close with Vanita. So I think that, so for her, this is sort of new, so she's experiencing it newly. The stuff with Charlie shows she has actually very little experience with women relationships. The, like, inability to see that two things were happening parallel was, like, a lot to handle. Like, she had one argument for herself that she didn't apply to Charlie, which is sort of like, okay, how come you get that, but she doesn't?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's a little bit early in women relationships experience.
Exactly.
The other thing I was going to say about it too, so she's like new to women relationships. She's good at male relationships. Oh yeah. Okay. I want to give you those. I totally agree with you and give her those flowers about like her forwardness. I don't mind that at all. Like I've had my era like that too, just sort of being like, especially if they are not in a relationship with someone else, which I appreciated. She did also respect that a little bit. I mean, I think there was stuff we weren't seeing, but at least what we saw, she wasn't as forward until he was no longer with Audrey. And you're right. I think because he seems like he's able to be like, sit down, which he actually said. He was like, enough, Sally. Like, what are, I like it. And so in that way I also like how bold she can be. And I think she does know her edges a little bit better with the male relationship. So I think that's good. I'm glad we're seeing that part of her too. It's a little bit more endearing than definitely more endearing than the women stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Not cute.
No. Okay, my bestest and worst test of friends. So one is Angelica and Audrey on Vanderpump Rules. As I mentioned, the like roast that Audrey did, which was probably like her like least appealing part of moment in her relationship with Angelica. But I actually appreciate that overall Audrey became more critical of her relationship with Angelica because she started realizing that there was sort of stuff that was going on that she just didn't agree with, and that's okay to not agree with her and try to tell her. And if she doesn't take it, then maybe move on if it's not the right setting for you. And I would also mention, just as like I mentioned earlier, the relationship between Angelica and Shane, where Shane's trying to be like, no, we're like, he's trying to be like, let's stay friends because clearly we're not going to be good long term together. And yet, like, she's pushing the boundaries and he's kind of flirting back with it. And so that's why I say they're not the bestest. They're the worst test of friends because they're not good at staying friends. Keep it out of there. Keep the sex out of there, especially if you're involving other people to make each other jealous. Not good. So I don't like that. But my best test of Friends I would give to as well, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. I will only say a teeny bit because it's another teaser for my fucking deep dive, which is to say I have this thesis that Amanda Francis is Kyle's Bose, just like Dorit had Bose. I think now Kyle has Amanda Francis, and I think either producers set that up or Kyle set that up. But either way, she now has somebody to sound off about Dorit to, and so she's become like very much her partner in crime. Amanda has become Kyle's partner in crime, and it puts this weird dynamic. I have a lot of arguments for why I think this is the case, and it was very intentional. You can listen to Deep Dive about that. But basically, they're the best test of Friends because it's sort of manufactured, and certainly like now they kind of need to lean on it. So thoughts about that to follow. And the second part that will come out next Monday.
Yay. Exciting. And what about our best confessional, our testimonial, our straight to camera moments?
I'm just going to give it to Bose at large about Amanda Francis. Bose about Amanda Francis is life-giving. It is fucking hilarious. It's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, I would say something to Sean. I would actually pause the TV and say to my husband, like, this is all the problems I have with this, or like, here's where I think this is going wrong, or here's what I think Amanda could say if she was really coming from that place, like, da-da-da. And then immediately after, I would, like, put this back on, and Bose would say exactly what I just said. And I'm like, thank you! Somebody fucking gets it. And, like, is also just able to call it out without being judgmental, really. It's a little bit shady, but, like, not, it's just a little bit. So, I love it. She's giving life, and I love her testimonials about it. Testimonials, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
They're so good.
They're absolutely great.
How about you?
Lindsay's confessionals about Ben and Carl, like, we've talked about Lindsay's attachment before, but she was asked about Carl, and she was like, yeah, I really don't think about him. When it was over, it was over. And I kind of believe her. And
I do too.
If anyone's able to do this, it is you, Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then about Ben, she was like, I can't get a read on him, and I can't tell if he's interested. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure if he's flirting. And that seems to be the common denominator with Ben. And I wonder if that's either why he's still single, or is he hung up on Amanda? I think
hung up on Amanda.
Because I think Lindsay reads those sort of dynamics pretty well. She's a natural flirt.
Yeah. And I think he's like not trying to be flirty, and then there's like little bits, and that's why people get confused. Like him being like when the blonde woman, is that who you're saying by Lindsay, or not Lizzie Hubbard, or?
Oh, yeah, Lindsay Hubbard. Is
okay. Yeah, when the blonde woman, Bailey, when she was talking to him, and she was like, oh no, it was actually when the other one, what's the brunette's name?
I forget her name.
Shit, and I knew it last time we talked about it, but I forget now. Xander, I don't know. When she was, it's right there, but I can't have it. The friend of Bailey's, when she was asked at the table, who's the hottest guy here, by Carl, mind you, she said Ben, and Ben leaned into her, the brunette, and was like, oh, I'm sweating, like, I'm so uncomfortable. And like, even just that, it's like a touch flirty, but not really flirty. And it's something that, like, we notice the women say a lot to each other, where sort of like, he's being flirty, but not with you. Like, it's not like for you or with you. And I think that's real. And I think he is flirty with Amanda. I think it is actually like to her, and he is a little bit more so. And I've known people like Ben, and I think that is why Ben didn't do well, like you said, at being the Bachelor, because he was flirty, but he wasn't flirty with those people. Like, he just was like, probably fun to watch, honestly, but not like connecting enough with anybody. And I think he just doesn't know. He's too nervous. He's like too insecure and like sort of learning how to be hot. He's learning how to be hot still, It's like, so I think he gets uncomfortable with people liking him or thinking he's hot because he's sort of like, I don't know. Whereas like with Amanda, it probably feels more than that. Like, she doesn't just think he's hot, and he's able to be more of himself with her. Clearly he followed her, I mean, I think, I'm excited. I hope they fucking date. I hope they marry. I would love it. I think he would treat her right. I really do. I love it.
I do too.
Yeah. But anyway, I totally feel that. I agree. So I like that Lindsay, even with her good read on flirting, is sort of like, I don't know, this is sort of, because it isn't a very American thing. It isn't more of like an Australian or European thing to be like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can understand. I can't get much of a read on him either. So it's just not, I think he's still learning his hotness.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And I went to Australia for like, whatever. I like lived there for a little bit or whatever when I was 16 by myself. Yeah. And so I actually feel like I have a good read on him. Like, I get exactly what he's doing, and I get exactly what he's thinking in most of those moments, honestly. But like, I think because even he doesn't really know. So I know he doesn't know in some of those instances or whatever. I can tell what's going on. So I feel like I can understand him really well. But I also see why, if you don't know that kind of culture, it's hard to understand. Like, it's not American the way that he's, so I get it. But I get why she doesn't get it too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a delight. What a delight. Lots of richness packed in here. Lots of sociopolitical content. What a fucking delight.
Love it. Love to see it. Love to do it. This was a lot of fun.
Always
Yeah, there's just so much going on reality TV wise.
Yeah, like I forgot all about fucking villains. Like I have so much more to say. And then also we were talking about how Bridgerton came out, and that's not really something that we've even covered or will cover necessarily, but that's coming out. We have Survivor season 50 coming out. We got all sorts of fucking goodies here. So we'll have more to say next week. We'll figure out something we wanted to cover next week and do some notes on that. And in the meantime, since I'm going to go celebrate my husband's birthday with him, I'm going to get us moving, which is to say, I'm going to keep it moving like, we were talking about today is a positive thing, which is we are on fucking Patreon. Gush goodness. Come see our videos. And they're $5. You get just for measly $5 a month, you get access to all our videos, all our archive of episodes. We were talking earlier about some of our early on episodes, like about Bridgerton, the season 2 ago, even really maybe just 1 ago. That's on there. You can see some fucking White Lotus content, stuff like that. Come on down and check that out at patreon.com/realitytest, capital R, capital T, or you can go to patreon.com and in the search bar, put at symbol reality test. You do need the at symbol or else apparently we don't really show, not apparently, I've seen that we don't seem to show up, which is bizarre. We're the teal and purple icon. Check it out. Then you'll also find us on some social medias. And for example, on Instagram, we're at Reality Test Podcast. But on YouTube and Facebook, we're at Reality Test Pod. I'm not even going to say TikTok anymore. We're out on that. Politically, goodbye. I will say that we also both have our own Instagrams, and so you'll also find us at Dr. Ray Pods for Dr. Ray and at Dr. K Pods for myself, and I also have threads for Dr. K Pods. So you'll see some of our content on any of those areas. Sort of, to be honest, I've been pretty dormant in my social media use, if I'm real honest. But I have still been putting out video episodes as possible. Again, my computer failure means I'm behind, I think, on a video episode, but we are doing them. They're coming out. And honestly, it adds a lot if you wanted to watch some of it, really, truly. So check it out. You can even get a free membership for now. Get our audios a night before. They come out a night before if you become a free member of our Patreon. And if you join as a paid member, you might be getting one of those free memberships that we're giving for a year to some of our first members. Come hang out. $5. Measly $5.
Not that much at all.
Coffee.
Do it. We dare you. And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. And yeah, we're grateful for any support you can provide us.
Oh, and also we have an email, which is, fuck, I forgot again to bring up what the email was about. I'm going to write it down so that next time I definitely bring it up because we're in a bit of a closing up here. But we did already get an email written right in, so thank you to that person, and I will share that next time. But, you know what? It makes sense because I didn't finish my Amanda Francis deep dive anyway, so I'll have more to say. But I will also say, if y'all want to write us an email, we're going to have some shout outs every now and then. We'll be like, tell us what you think about this thing. We didn't really have any today because we sort of just like agreed on most things. But if you have thoughts about things, write in anyway. You might have something you disagree with us about. Go ahead, write it in. Our email is realitycheckpodding@gmail.com. And also, hi to the friends of the friends that came because your friends told you about it. Can you also tell your friends? We'd love to see them here as well. And thank you so much. We love you and adore you. We'll see you next session. Bye.